One more test and this is it, because I have been testing and testing and testing all morning, and I have to get a video out because I'm bursting with information. It's Susan at Seaside Stitches. I have been trying to film this for ages and I'm so pleased I've got on here now. I've got lots to tell you, but I'm going to try and trim that down to 3 different videos, I think, then I don't blare you. As I said, I am bursting with information and I am not quite sure where to start, so I'll just start here. It's Susan at Seaside Stitches and I haven't been on for a while. I'm not quite sure where I left you. I think I had committed to finally finishing the yellow little boy, the wobbly boy, for my grandson, and I haven't finished it. But working on from there, I decided I would get on with my whips or unfinished objects, and I was restricting myself from making anything other than that, other than finishing off things. And knowing we had a wedding on the 24th of June, I was allowing myself, I had an outfit, well, I had a dress that I thought I would wear for the 24th of June. And I thought, well, even if I'm not going to wear that I'm leaving myself a few weeks to be able to run up something. And then it got to 2 weeks before and I thought, I'm not really sure about that dress, but I was working on this work in progress, which I'll show you properly afterwards. I started this dress in 2020 in late November with a few days to go to our 48th wedding anniversary, and I just thought that pattern, I just fancy it. It's the one that I used. I'll pop a picture in, but I just went upstairs to find it. I can't find it. Obviously I can't find it if I need it for something specific. I call it my flounce dress, but it's not called a flounce. It's just a simplicity. Can't think of the number, but I will pop it in. And I've used it for the other dress that's all very floral, and I get loads of compliments about it, how bright and cheery it is. But I only made that one on the strength of having made this one. And this one is in woven, and it's in, it's cotton, but it's got a little bit of elastane in it. It's got just a slight bit of stretch. And this is some cotton twill. I never know whether it's twill, but that's also got a tiny bit of stretch in it. And I wasn't making it with this frill on the bottom. I was making it with the big sleeves. I wasn't making it with any, you may not be able to see it from where it is, flutter things on the sleeves. But there's a side story to why I did anyway. In doing these unfinished objects, I'd picked out this one again. And I thought, would that do for the wedding? I'm not sure. And it didn't quite fit me right. It was a little bit short and I don't know. I wasn't quite sure about it. But I do love the royal blue and royal blue loves me too. So I'd kind of discounted it as the wedding outfit, but I was wanting to finish it. And I realised that if I put a little frill on the bottom, that would bring it down a bit, put some weight on the bottom so it wouldn't ride up. It wasn't very short, it was just slightly below my knee. And I hadn't hemmed it then, or had I? No, I hadn't hemmed it. So I was wondering if it would ride up because it was quite slim fitting. I thought if I put a ruffle on the bottom, but I have just got it down. And yes, I thought if I put a ruffle on the bottom, it will weight down the dress a little bit and make sure it doesn't ride up. And I was really pleased with that idea. And then I thought I could do that with the amount of fabric I've got left. The problem with this is I didn't have much more of this, and anything that I did have, it needs so much, it's such a huge pattern. And when I got it, it was from Abercan. Abercorn. It was Abercan, and they only had a limited amount, and it had been only when I started to look at cutting it out, it had been put on the roll on a twist. So to get it actually vertical and to be able to match it to itself was really quite difficult, because it was just against the grain line, and lots of things were complicated about it, but I didn't have a lot anyway. And I don't need to go into all this really. But basically I made it up in that November, and I thought I was doing really well in sorting out the V-neck. I'd done it, it was the best V-neck I'd done, and I'd never really done a V-neck in woven. Very, very rarely do I sew with woven. But then I pressed it, but I pressed it over a ham, and I curved it, and it just was gaping, and I really didn't like it, and I didn't know what to do about it. I looked up lots of ways of sorting out if you've got a gaping V-neck, and all of them related to what you do next time, or what you should have done, which was no help to me at all. So in the end, why it ended up in the unfinished objects box was because I had taken it apart. I was determined I wouldn't just whiz it. I had taken the bodice, I'd taken the part of the facing of I'd undone the shoulder seams to take some of that up. I'd got it still made as a bodice, but there were gaps where it needed tweaking and things. So that's why it was in the unfinished thing box. Anyway. But it didn't come out for our anniversary, for our 49th anniversary. And it sat in this box, and I kept getting it out, and I think I kept mentioning it as well on some videos. But I just thought I will put a little ruffle on the bottom. So I put the ruffle, I cut it, I put it on, and I hung it on the back of the door. And I said to Alan, what do you think of that for the wedding? And he said, well, I think it's a bit over the top now. Now, I don't particularly mind being a bit over the top, so that didn't really put me off. But it did a little bit, because it was in my mind, is it over the top now? So at that point, I hadn't bought the Davenport pattern, the Davenport dress pattern, and I'm going to do a separate video about that. I really found it a very interesting make, and I've got lots to say about it, and I have made it. I've still got one sleeve to finish, and I've put the drawstring to put in, but I'm going no further about that one at this point, except to say Chelsea on the sew along, I'll say that there is a sew along from Friday Pattern Company by Chelsea, and she puts a little ruffle on the sleeve head. And as I was looking at this and thinking, well, now this is far too much, it's a bit over the top, I thought, well, let's even it out and put some frills on the top. So I used the ruffle, the sleeve head ruffle pattern from the Davenport dress, and I added it to this sleeve. And I changed this from just having elastic in the bottom, just turned over twice with elastic in the bottom of the cuff, and I changed it to the ruffle at the bottom of the sleeve in the, I'm going to call it a dragonfly dress, in the Davenport dress. And I'm really proud of that. And if I had not have learned how to do that by doing the Davenport dress, I wouldn't have done that. So I am really pleased with it, and I did wear it. And also to team it, to join these kind of colours all together, I went to a place called Boundary Mill. It's an outlet shop. It sells lots of things. It sells clothing mainly, clothing, shoes, bedding, household things, and they're on a markdown price usually from what you'd buy from the actual shops. So anyway, while I was there, we went there specifically to see if I could find a jacket. Now, I took with me the sleeve that wasn't then made into a ruffle. I took the sleeve on its own, and I took a piece of fabric from the other dress that I thought I might wear, and tried to find a jacket. And the jackets were few and far between, and I just saw this little kind of pale lemon one, and I thought, well, I don't know whether I'd even wear that. It's not my colour at all. But when I also took a piece of this fabric with me. When I took this out of my bag, I thought, actually, it goes all right with it, kind of a lemony colour. It's kind of a creamy yellow rather than lemon even. Anyway, I put it on with the dress I had on, and a lady walked past and said, oh, that really suits you, it suits your hair, which at that point had dyed almost vivid orange, Jaffa orange. It was a little bit over the top for what I'd actually wanted, but so I had that, and I put the jacket on, and I'd put my dress with big puff sleeves, my 70s sleeves on anyway, and it was only a 3/4 length jacket sleeve. So when I put it on, it looked really well with that cuff, that puffiness coming out. So matching it up to the thing, and then this woman walked past, and the woman was there again, and I'm matching it up to the bits in my bag, and she's going, oh, it'd go with everything, wouldn't it? And so, yes, with a bit of encouragement, I bought the jacket, and I will pop some pictures in of me at the wedding with my crazy sisters who one lives an hour that way and one lives an hour that way from me, and we very rarely actually get together, and we very rarely get together all dolled up. So we took advantage of that, as you'll see from the photograph, or photographs, depending on how many they let me put in. So I'll just pop that there for now. Whoops. Okay, so just to team it up, I decided I would see if I could find some lemon or yellowy cream buttons, and then I thought, well, why not pick out the lilac-y colour and the greeny colour, which they don't show up probably on the photo, but they do look like they match. So over the top, and over the top. That's me, Susan at Seaside Stitches, over the top. So the other thing I had thought I was going to do was make a dress from scratch. And I went to our local fabric shop, Fabrics at Fleetwood, and the only thing that's before I got to the decision of whether I would make this into the wedding outfit. So the only other option was when I'd said I might make something from scratch. I couldn't find anything over the top enough for me. But then I did find this that was beautiful and very, very bright and cheery. But it is organic French terry, and I'm not sure which way up it is yet. It's French terry, and it was June the 24th. Now, we weren't in the market for the heat wave at that point, but I was wondering, was that the best option? But something made me buy it anyway, so I had bought it anyway, and I'm still working out what to make with it. But I do love it, and I do keep putting it against me, and it puts me in mind of the blue floral one that I made for the Frugal Frocks 2021, and only in that it is a big bright pattern and stands out well with nothing very much done to it. So it's just a kind of a basic shift dress that I've made with the other one. And I think rather than chopping this into sections and making it into something like this, which I have finished, and I made this for Zoe Joey when she did, Zoe Joey did make a t-shirt. anyway, t-shirt for summer 2021, and I made it for that and didn't finish it. And I thought, I will be damned if I haven't finished it for the t-shirt for summer 2022, and I was almost there. I only had to do the hems on each bit, and I still didn't finish it. And actually, at this moment, it is not finished because all I have to do is knot all these. When you use a twin needle, you may know this, when you use a twin needle, when you're finishing off where you want to finish off, you can't backstitch, it gets all tangled up. So you just run on a little bit, and then you cut your threads, but long enough to pull them through on the wrong side, and then knot them together. You know, you're just knotting it so that you've got a bit of a safety net, because it could be that you just trim them because they've run across each other and they've kind of locked themselves down. But I just want to be absolutely safe. So I just do a little reef knot at the back, teeny weeny thing. But I haven't done that yet. And next time I see you, I may be wearing it, you never know. But it's July now, so it could possibly be August. I don't know. So that's that. So that's really my little update. We had a lovely time at the wedding. It was absolutely just beautiful. Our niece Michaela and Scott, her partner, now her husband, had been together 17 years. They've got 3 children. They're a lovely couple. They're a lovely family. And it was just really nice to have a get-together, a meaningful wedding, and lots of dancing. And yes, my sister Leslie and I danced, well, from, I don't know, well before we should have done, really, until well after we should have done. But it was wonderful, and I had high-ish heels on, which I don't normally wear, and they never gave me a bit of problem, not one bit. But 2 days later, my sternum was really sore. And I thought, what's that about? What have I been lifting? But I've been giving it a lot of whatever I was giving it. A lot of it. And quite a bit of it. So that's me for now. But I will be on again talking about the Davenport dress. And I really appreciate anyone who's watched my videos, who is still watching my videos, who has subscribed to my videos. I've got 450 plus subscribers. How has this been happening? I don't know. But I really appreciate every one of you, and thank you ever so much for listening. And also the inspiration I get from all the other YouTubers. At this point, there are too many to mention because I want to keep this video short, but I'll pop a few in my description. Thank you ever so much. Bye.